So let's continue to our next problem. So we have x squared plus ax plus 16 equals 0, and I'm going to solve for x by using the quadratic formula. So I provide you the quadratic formula here, x equals to -8 plus or minus, so square root inside, we have a squared minus 4 times 1 times 16 divided by 2. So we have -8 plus or minus 0 divided by 2, and we got x equals to -4. So we only have one solution for this equation. We have last set of equation, x squared plus 7x plus 18. I'm going to use the quadratic formula to solve for x. So this is a quadratic formula, and I'm going to plug in these values into this formula, and we got -7 plus or minus the square root. Square root inside number, we have 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 18 divided by 2. Inside square root, we have 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 18. So this number here, 4 times 18 is 72. 49 minus 72 gives us a -23. So the question was the square root of -23. So I want to answer this question. So basically, if I want to answer this question, I can rewrite this expression as the question mark times the question mark equals to -23, and I want to figure the question mark here. So notice that the question mark here are the same value. So we have the same value times together, and we could get the -23. So could this value exist? So this value does not exist because we have because when we have two same numbers multiplied together, we don't get the negative value. So basically, root -23 does not exist, and we cannot evaluate this equation. So we have no solution for this question because I cannot evaluate root -23. So because we cannot evaluate this one, I cannot say that there's any solution for this one. So there's no solution. So basically, when you apply the same quadratic formulas into these three previous situations, you will see that we get different number of solutions. So we got two solutions in the first example. So this equation, we got two solutions. And in the second example, I got only one solution. And the third example here, I got no solution. So basically, for the next question I want to ask is, why applying the same quadratic formula give you different number of solutions? And which parameter of this formula affect the number of solutions? So basically, let's go back and take a look. So in the first example, you will see that I have two solutions because this number right here is greater than 0, right? So the square root here is greater than 0, and this number inside the square root is greater than 0. So that's why I can split the equation into two portions with a plus or with a minus. So that's why I got two solutions, right? So in the second example, b squared minus 4ac, this number is equal to 0, right? So when we take a squared minus 4 times 1 times 16, you got 0 here. So when we have -a plus 0 or -a minus 0, it gives you the same answer. So x is only equals to -4, and only one solution here because we have the square root number inside is 0. So for the third example, we see that b squared minus 4ac here is less than 0. So we calculate it's -23 before. So we cannot take the square root of negative number. So that's why I cannot see any solution for this example. So basically, b squared minus 4ac, this parameter here will affect the number of solutions. So because we cannot sometimes take the square root number with negative numbers. So as I mentioned before, if the number inside the square root is greater than 0, we expect to see there's two different solutions. When the number inside square root is equal to 0, we only get one solution. If the number inside square root is less than 0, we don't get any solution. So let's do a couple of exercises to determine how many number of solutions in the following quadratic equations. So when we determine number of solutions, make sure you use this formula, b squared minus 4ac. If I use this formula, I can actually know how many solutions I have. So in the first example, 3x squared plus 2x minus 4. So how do we do that? So we got 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times -4. So be careful, we have a negative in the constant -c. So if you calculate this expression, you will get 4 right? 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 3 times -4. So 4 times -4 we have -16. So -16 times 3 we have 48. So we have 4 minus -48. So it turns out we have 2 minus here and one of them cancel up. So we have 4 plus 48, which gives us 52. So 52 is greater than 0. This expression is greater than 0, right? We expect to see there's two distinct solutions for this example. Try to figure out on your own in the next two examples. So you can pause the video and think about this. So you expect to get these numbers and get these answers. So we have 25 minus 4 times 2 times 6. So 4 times 2 times 6, which is 48. So 48 is greater than 25. So we have 25 minus 48. We got the negative number here. So that's why I got no solution for the second equation. So for the last equation, we see that we have 4 times 3 in the right-hand side. In the left-hand side, we have 4, right? So 4 minus 12, which gives us negative numbers. So which gives me the negative numbers. So I don't expect to see any solutions here. So we don't have solutions for these two examples.